Welcome to another episode of the Launch Button Podcast, where we help entrepreneurs, business owners launch or take their business to the next level, whether it's real estate investing, whether it's business, whether it's personal finance, whether it's your health, wealth, whatever you happen to be in. We're going to talk with successful people that are making it happen so that you can learn from their journey and take the next steps. Today, we've got one of my longtime students, one of my long-term business partners that we've been working with for many, many years. And he's actually sitting in one of his rental properties today that he's in the middle of rehabbing. So we caught him on the job. It's awesome. And I've known Jose since he had no kids, and now he's got 3 kids. So just to understand the evolution of time and how things happen, and it's all about taking that consistent daily action. And Jose's done that from the very start. I know we go way back in history, but tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you went from being an engineer, getting into lots of debt, to being a successful real estate investor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hugh. And I really appreciate the opportunity for being here and doing this podcast with you. You've been an instrumental part of this journey that we're in right now. And, quite frankly, a lot of this, I don't think any of this would have been possible in real estate and business if it wasn't for your guidance and your friendship and everything we've been able to learn from, and all the support that you provided over the years and continue to provide, not just to me, but to many, many others across the nation, right? So thank you for that, Hugh. So
let's just be clear. I provide the avenue, but you got to take the action. And not many people can take consistent daily action. And you've been one of the few that were like, hey, I'm going to keep going no matter what and keep pushing through. So I got to give you lots of credit as well, because we just provide the avenue, but you got to take the action, and you've been doing that.
That's right, man. That's right. And so my background is I'm a first-generation American. I was brought up by a single mom. We came here to this country in search of the American dream. And the American dream, from what my mom told me from a very early age, was to go to school, get a degree, and get a good job. So that's exactly what I did. And because you like to say I'm an overachiever, I not just went to college one time, but I went to college for 2 times, for 2 different sets of college debt. And the reason I did that was because that was the dream that I was told that I had, the path that I had to follow in order to achieve and accomplish the things that I wanted in life, right? So I can get a good job, be able to make money so I can buy the house and, have a family and be able to support and provide for them. And quite frankly, when I graduated college, I came out of college with high college debt and a low income. And that's instantly, when I received my very first paycheck, is when I really learned what being an adult was all about. And it was all about paying Uncle Sam and paying Dad and working to pay the bills. And I just couldn't picture myself doing that for the rest of my life. I just couldn't do that. And I've always had the entrepreneurial mindset from a very young age. My mother was a doctor in Ecuador, where we're from. And when we came here, she was no longer a doctor, but she instilled in me that if I wanted to become financially independent, if I wanted to live life on my own terms, if I wanted to have freedom, I had to be a business owner. But that was not the case when I graduated college. Having a business was the farthest thing from my mind, because I really nobody taught me in college to be a business owner or entrepreneur. They just told me how to be engineer, to work for a company. And that was that. So I started a cell phone and computer repair business, which at the time I was making more money than I was in my job. But because I didn't have,
right? Like, just to be clear, you were doing that part-time.
Correct. So I was working full-time as an engineer. And then I went on, after my job, I would do my side hustle, which at the time side hustle wasn't a catchy phrase, right? But that was my side hustle. And I was fixing cell phones and computers because I was an engineer and I was comfortable with that. So I always tinker with gadgets and everything. And I was making more money in that than in my engineering job. But because it was something in my mindset that I was brought up with that said, hey, you have a title, you have a degree, leaving that degree as an engineer to go do something else that's not dealing with your degree, it's frowned upon, or I don't know what the word is, but it wasn't the thing for me to do. So I didn't want to disappoint my family, friends, and things of that nature. So I never really went all in into that business. And it wasn't until I met Hugh Zaretsky and the team that, like you said before, provided the avenue, right? In order for me to learn about real estate investing. And, can I say the magic phrase, Hugh, that you said that you shared with me that changed everything for me? I was invited to a presentation to learn about real estate investing without using any of my own money or credit. And I had to wait 2 hours for Hugh to finally say something that triggered in my mind. And he said, Jose, you're going to have an opportunity to learn how to invest in real estate without using any of your own money or credit. And while you do that, you can make anywhere between $1,000 to $10,000 per week or per month. And I was like, Hugh, you didn't have to make me wait 2 hours for that. You could have just said that from the beginning, and I would have been home having dinner right now and would have said yes. And that and behold, that was the beginning of of my journey as a real estate investor and taking entrepreneurial business ownership serious, and also the beginning of our friendship.
Yeah.
That's how we got started.
And let's just backtrack, because that was out in Jersey City back then, when it wasn't exactly the Jersey City of today, right? How old's your oldest child?
So she just turned 10.
10. Mm-hmm. So we've known each other over 10 years.
And at least 10 years.
At least 10 years, right? And so Jersey City wasn't the nice place it's become recently over the last few years. And it was a little scary out there for me to come out there from New York City to help our team out there and take a train and all of that out to Jersey City. And Jose wasn't planning on being there that day. And I always talk to people about saying yes to, if it's 70 to 80% of what you want, say yes. And Jose said yes to that meeting, right? He said yes at the last minute. He was invited to that meeting and showed up. And we got to thank our friend Roseanne there, right? That she batted her eyes at you, and you were like, you felt a little guilty, and you were like, okay, I'll go in there, right? Because he wasn't even looking for that at that time, but he was looking for the right opportunity. And sometimes it happens like that, and you just got to say yes, right? What made you say yes that day?
I was very skeptical, Hugh. She said real estate, she said investing, she said those words, and to me that was like, no way, stay away. I have no money, no credit. I previously, before that, I had helped one of my family members that went into foreclosure because they were part of that crazy cycle in real estate with the mortgage bubble and all of that. And to me, real estate investing was not really something that I had on my radar, because my family already had a bad experience in that. So I really wasn't interested in in real estate investing when she asked me. And I really thank Roseanne for actually insisting. And I said, you know what, fine. At the moment, I don't have any clients, and this was in an office that we were both sharing in common. And I said yes. And little did I know, that was the yes that would change everything, the directions for my life at that point.
Yeah. It's crazy how those things happen, right? And it's just, we track everything back. One thing leads to the next. Now, your mom, as a first generation American, your mom had that dream for you of that college education, which, most first generation Americans have for their kids, right? And she really wanted that for you. So, but she also instilled the business owner, entrepreneur in you, being the doctor and making that transition and that sacrifice. I know that was one of your goals as you became a real estate investor, real estate agent, to pay back your mom or support your mom. So tell us a little bit about what you've done to help your mom.
Yeah, so my mom, like you just mentioned, she always had her own practice. She had her own laboratory, she had her own clinic, and I've seen, when I was a very young age, I used to see that, and so I had the first eyewitness of what an entrepreneur was in my mother, and I've seen her when we came to this country. I've seen her work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week just to be able to put time.
Right? Not as a doctor.
Not as a doctor, because when we came here, she was not a doctor. She didn't speak English. So she had a hard time, making ends meet and getting herself to the point where she can get a decent job. She had to learn English. She went through a lot of challenges and obstacles that I saw as a kid. And one of the biggest things that that stick with me is her perseverance and her hard work ethic, because she never gave up. She pushed through, and despite all the challenges, she learned English, she got a job, she was able to provide. And, that was one of my big whys, was to be able to, and we never owned a property, and I wanted to buy a house for my mother. And that's one of the goals that we were able to accomplish, is we acquired her a rental property that has 3 apartments. And because of what I've learned in real estate investing and buying properties at discounted values, we were able, that property today is cash flowing way more than what she is getting her from her retirement and Social Security combined. So just that one property alone has the ability, is going to keep her financially secure in her later years in life. She is retired now, so it's providing a good additional income, and something that I wanted to have for her when she had to retire. So we were able to accomplish that. And that's not it. We're continuing to do things to increase the portfolio and do other short-term deals. But it all started with that one property, and just the dream and the belief that we can accomplish this. And I wanted to provide that at some point in my life for her.
Awesome. And that's amazing to be able to help your parents, your mom, right? Especially help your mom for what she did for you when you first came here, and now be able to pay that back. I know lots of people want to do that for their parents, to be able to support them and provide that income. So congratulations on taking that step. And what would you tell first generation Americans, right? That may or may not, because you're fluent in Spanish as well, right? So you're bilingual. Tell them about getting started in real estate, or even finding their dream or their passion.
Well, there's many different ways I can answer this question, Hugh. It's not a simple one to answer, but I would say that, as long as you work hard and really surround yourself with the right people and educate yourself and take consistent daily action, like you mentioned before, you can accomplish what you set yourself out to. Because, I'm a firm believer of, if somebody else can do it, so can I, right? If there was a path, if somebody else was able to accomplish what I'm looking to accomplish, no matter where they started from, if they can do, somebody else can do it, and there's proof in what they've done, success disclosed. And I know, if I find the right system, I find the right people, find the support group, because none of this is possible without any of that. I can make it happen. So that really is the message that I would say to people that are, probably looking to give up, probably looking at, is this really the next 30, 40 years of my life? Yeah, there is a different path forward than the traditional bill of goods that we've been told, right? To go to get a school, get a degree, get a job. That's old school mentality. And more people need to be aware that there are other options, as long as you do those consistent daily actions, like you mentioned.
Nice. Awesome. Now tell everybody a little bit about what you've done since you've been successful in real estate, right? I know you started focusing on short sales and continued that process and continued to grow, and now you're an agent as well. So tell everybody a little bit about what you've done since you've launched into your real estate investing career.
I gotta say, Hugh, it wasn't easy. It's not easy. This business, when you first started, is not an easy business, right? And most people, unfortunately, are told that you can go maybe watch a YouTube video, learn a concept, and go and make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Quite frankly, can it happen? Possibly. It didn't happen for me that way. I can tell you that, right? I really didn't understand how much work, right, and commitment was necessary for this business. I mean, it took me about a year or so to really get my mind straight into believing that this was possible for me, because I had met people in our community, through our real estate community, that had already accomplished many things. We're very successful. We're doing real estate transactions. And I was like, you know what? Like I said before, if they can do it, I can do it. But I went from that W-2 mindset and that skepticism of there's no way somebody's going to sell me their house without using any of my own money or credit, that it took me a little bit of time to first get my mind straight on that. Then, we purchased our first property, and I was able to meet my business partner, Jason Howard, through our community. We purchased our first investment property without using any of our own money. We did use some credit, but we didn't use any of our own money. And that's when I knew it was just like a process that we can just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And from there, we started with short sales, like you mentioned, because at the time it was still close enough to the mortgage bubble where there was still a lot of foreclosures and short sales happening. We were able to help a lot of homeowners in doing that. And that was one of the things that I decided to go into, because many realtors at the time were like, oh no, short sales, they take too long. I really don't want to touch them. They're complicated. They're this and that. And I was like, if you don't want them, give them to me. I'll handle them. And I got my real estate license because I wanted access to information. I wanted access to data. And that was a catalyst, to be able to get me in the door to speaking to homeowners, to speaking to motivated sellers as a realtor, offering that service. And then I learned how to present myself and made that transition into I'm an investor. I want to buy your property. So it all started with following a proven system of finding motivated sellers to be able to do that. And from there, we've been able to do a lot of transactions from there. We've built a lot of relationships with people, and 90% of our transactions now are funded using other people's money, OPM. And it started when I first got started here. I remember I used to ask all my friends and family, hey guys, I got this great deal. Why don't you come invest with me? Come on, give me some money so we can make money together. And they were not at that point. They were not at that point ready to trust me yet. With their hard money. What?
They didn't have the belief.
They didn't have the belief and trust. And I don't blame them because I barely had the belief and trust in myself either at the point, right? I was just hoping to find people that were interested enough in the opportunity rather than in me, right? So then I quickly realized that it's the other way around. People are going to be more interested in you rather than the opportunity. And we started building those relationships. We started doing one after the other. And because of our track record of short-term deals, we primarily do fix and flip transactions, several of them throughout the year using other people's money. And I haven't had a job since 2 years after we met you. So over 10 years, I've been doing this full time because of this. And I've been able to, my biggest reason why, before I got started for this, was to be able to be there for my wife and kids, not to miss birthdays, not to have to ask people for time off, because that's one of my biggest whys. I remember growing up, my mother missed everything. She was always at work, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week working. She missed a lot of things. I didn't want to have to put my kids through that. So I wanted to be able to provide a lifestyle for them where their father was around, where their father could go and provide, what they needed, where the father can spend time with them in their plays, take them to daycare, all those kinds of things. And because of this business, we've been able to accomplish that and many more things. But I feel like we're just getting started, Hugh. I feel like the first 10 years in this business were just the beginning. And we have many more.
Laying the foundation, right? You've been laying that foundation. You've been slowly filling it in. And I think the biggest key for a lot of people is Jose, like he said here, he had to get his mindset right first. He had to believe in himself, right? And then other people will. But a lot of times people are like, I want to do the deal, but they don't truly have the belief, right? So we got to get our mindset set first. People say we got to be the person first, and then we do, and then we have it, right? And you're making that transition. And I know it's hard coming from an engineer brain that you had, where it was all about that to shift that mindset and to be able to do that. Now, how many deals roughly have you completed on the fix and flip side?
We completed over 110 transactions. in the
over
last
110
2 years.
transactions, and now you're helping other people, being an agent, you're helping other investors, being able to go out there, and Jose focuses in the New Jersey market. For those of you guys in the New Jersey area, he is also an agent out there, so definitely reach out to him. We'll have his contact information in the post and everything like that. And as we ramp up things here into 2025, and there's going to be more opportunities coming down the pipeline this year, as real estate sort of took a little bit of a backseat this last year, and now it's ramping back up again with interest rates coming down, even though it doesn't matter about interest rates, as we both know, Jose, right?
Yes.
Interest rates don't matter, and we still do deals whether it's up or down. Tell me, what was your favorite deal you've done so far?
Oh man. Oh man. My favorite deal. My favorite deal is definitely one in Jersey City. Actually, we purchased this property without using any of our own money or credit.
So it was true
I
what I
told
told you. So it was
Yeah.
true.
Yes. Yes. I had to drill you down. I didn't believe you. And then I was like, show me the people that have done this, you. Show me the people. And then it was just one after the other. And then I'm like, okay, you know some people. But yeah, my favorite deal was this property in Jersey City. Just maybe the year after the pandemic started, when nobody, there was lines around the block, open houses were filled and packed with people, and everyone was saying, you can't find a deal out there. There's no deals. There's no deals. You can't find anything below market value because everything is going above asking in all those situations. We purchased this property for, I remember the number was 330,000, and within 30 or 40 days we had sold it for 500,000. Just like that. That was one of my favorite transactions. We probably put in about, I don't know, $20,000 in cleaning the house up and things of that nature. But it was a sweet transaction. That's one of my favorites, not just because of the income that we made at the time, but also because how quick and simple and easy the deal was.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's my favorite transaction.
There you go. Sometimes it happens like that, right? But Jose had to be prepared for that one. It wasn't like that wasn't your first deal. That wasn't probably your right. That was a deal way down the line that you had to be prepared for. So when that opportunity hit to make the big bucks, you were ready. And that's what a lot of people don't see is the reps that went into that. What number deal was that roughly for you?
I don't know. That was probably like 60 or something. 60
right,
or
60. So 60 or 70. So you had everything lined up. So when it did have that huge opportunity, you were able to jump right in and do it. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. Tell me what this is doing for your family and for your kids, because I know that, that's why you got involved in this. What have they seen from you?
Well, they see their dad picking them up from school every day and taking them to school. They see their dad all the time. Maybe they want me to be away a little bit more. But yeah, so my kids have everything they need. Even though we have this kind of level of success in our business, my wife and I are both first generation Americans, and we come from that mindset of you're going to learn how to earn a dollar because nothing's being handed to you. And we feel what we want to share with them is for them to be able to, we want to pass down to them that mindset of make things happen on your own. You can do the things that you work hard for, and mommy and daddy are going to be here if you stumble really bad, but we're not going to be here to make sure you're okay all the time. Okay. So that's one of the things. And cash flow game has been a fantastic event at our home. We play that with our kids. They love it. They learn about money, finances, business, entrepreneurship from a very young age. And my wife, she works because, she wants to be a teacher, and, she likes to have the time out and away from, she wants to do her own thing, and I don't blame her, right? So sometimes I think that for us probably works great, and that's what it's been able to do for us. Just be able to provide us the opportunity to not have to worry about finances, for me to have to worry about having to go find a job, or what happens if my job lays me off, or what happens if my wife's job lays her off, things of that nature. So it's been a just different life, something I couldn't believe was possible during if I would have kept the job,
Right.
and especially how the economy and how inflation and all those things we can go talk about. That I don't think we're going to do that today, but are just devastating people in their income.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to have a working couple really accomplish their life and goals in today's
Yeah.
economy.
And we're going to talk to Jose a little bit more in depth in the private podcast here in a minute. We're going to go a little deeper into the real estate deals for all of you guys that have gone to the launchbuttonpodcast.com and subscribe. You get the bonus features in there in the private podcast. But I know one of the things, actually, Jose doesn't even know he's part of a new mastermind that we're launching in 2025, but we'll talk to him about that here in a minute with you as well.
I'm a
Yeah.
part of anything you do here. You know that.
Jose just says yes now. He's like, you're doing it. Yep.
Yeah, now I just say yes.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also giving you that freedom to travel, right? And I know you guys you enjoy traveling. So where's been your favorite place to take the family to?
So yes, travel every year. I'm a director by personality, and my wife loves traveling as well. So we love to travel. We take the kids. We take multiple trips a year, and the well, the best one for the family was Disney. We love Disney. The best one for the family was Disney, but we also traveled to Colombia. We also went to France, Paris. We've been to different locations, but definitely for family was Disney.
Yeah. Well, that always has for the kids, but I know like growing up, you didn't travel that much, right? As a kid with your mom working all those hours, and now you get to provide that for your family and for your kids, right?
Right. And now my mother comes on our trips. My mother-in-law, comes in our trips. So it's everywhere we go. It's basically a family, getaway. And but besides Disney, one of our favorite places to go is actually Riviera Maya in Mexico.
Nice. Awesome. So before we wrap up here, Jose, is there anything else you want to share with the audience? Anything you want to just get across to them?
Yeah, so the biggest thing, like I mentioned in the beginning, is getting your head straight in terms of what you think you can accomplish or not. Sometimes people are, I've through a lot of self development, personal development, and a lot of homework and painful realizations. I've come to the conclusion that everything happens for a reason, and the universe gives you and provides the things that you ask of it. And I look at those, I try to find those opportunities all the time. So I'll give you a perfect example. We were looking, we were the other time, we were looking for someone to come into our business, right? And help us provide a service that we were looking for our business in terms of lead acquisition. And we have interviewed different people, and I'm like, well, there's got to be somebody that I know, that I always ask myself internally, I put it out there, right? And I verbalize them. There's got to be somebody I know that is looking for an opportunity like this. Got to be somebody I know that's looking for an opportunity. Just lo and behold, the other day somebody texted me that we know, and hey,
We say we
you
know
have
that you've already built a relationship with that's already part of our community of real estate investors, just so they understand. When you say
right,
we know, just so it's part of our community, right?
correct. I never brought it up to this person. I never brought it up to anybody this is what we were looking for, and it just boom, just like that. Somebody sent me a message saying, "Do you need any help in your business? Because I want to learn and be a part of what you're doing." And I said, I was like, "This is the universe providing what we were asking of it." That's basically, I think, one of the biggest things that I have gotten out of from all this entrepreneurial journey, is that you never know where, you know, I mean, where that answer to your questions, your prayers are going to come from. I didn't have any expectations from saying yes to that meeting when I attended this presentation, and I didn't even know Hugh was going to be in the presentation. He hadn't even arrived. I actually had, at the moment when they asked me, there was nobody in the seats. There was nobody there. And I said, okay, am I going to be the only one here today? What are we talking about? So that just goes to show that no matter where you start, whether, you know, from humble beginnings, one person meeting, to 1,000, 1,000,000 people in your meetings, it doesn't matter, right? All it matters is saying yes to and finding the right people and having the belief in yourself to be able to accomplish what you're looking to accomplish. That's really what it comes down to, because I started in this business with zero belief, zero confidence, zero money to invest in real estate, because I had just invested most of my money into my cell phone and computer business. No, really bad credit at the time. I was in my 20s. Nobody taught me how to manage credit cards properly. Credit cards was a bad name.
Right.
And we flipped all that just by putting the right things in my head, learning from more successful people, from very successful people, and taking consistent daily action. That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
So that's really what I wanted. That's what I'm about here, Hugh.
And that's great.
I just think, you know, sometimes I don't know. I feel sometimes that, you know, I was brought to here to be an example, you know, of what's possible from someone that just came to this country for an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I just said yes to a meeting, and then just said yes to this, and just said yes to that, and just said yes to that. And let me tell you, a lot of the times I regret saying yes to things. But at the moment, but then later on, I realized that had whatever I experienced or conversation or moments that were not favorable or I didn't enjoy at the moment came and taught me a valuable lesson later on, or something that I can reference to that not to do again. Or it's like, wow, my questions were answered back then. I just didn't realize them, but now I do. And that's really it.
Yeah, and I think to your point, there are a lot of people go into relationships as more transactional, right? Versus building the relationship. And I know everything that we've always done, it was never a transaction. Even if something didn't go right, whatever happened to be, it was like, okay, we don't throw away the 80% good if 20% something happens, right? There's always times you're going to disagree with people. There's always times you're not going to like something they do. But if 80% or 70% of what they do is moving you in the right direction, then you've got to take that and keep going. So I congratulate you on that. We did forget to talk about your very first real estate deal that you ever did and how scary that was for you. So you just want to share that quickly with the audience here?
Sure. My very first transaction, I had just got introduced to it. And like I mentioned before, I did not have this confidence and belief in this business as I do now. But Hugh comes to the group and says, well, guys, we have an opportunity, but we need to raise $200,000 in the next 5 days. And I was like, what are you talking about, Hugh? Yeah, we're going to buy 59 properties. We have an opportunity to buy 59 properties, and here are the terms, and here's everything. And I'm like, I don't even know these terms yet. Like, I'm just so new to this. And you're asking me to invest in 59 properties. I'm from New York. I grew up in Brooklyn, and I'm in Jersey City also. It's like property values. There's like, you barely can buy a house with $1 million. How are you buying 59 properties? There's something here. I don't know. Did I get myself into something here? Am I in the right place? But lo and behold, you know, he presented the numbers, he presented the information, and I wasn't going to do it. To be honest with you, I wasn't going to do it because I just felt like I didn't know enough. And a lot of the terms and a lot of the things that were presented just went right over my head. And I said to myself, going back at the time, and I said, you know what? I'm here for a reason. This is an opportunity. at that point, I had already built some relationship and connection with people in our community and our team. And quite frankly, I said to myself, if these successful people are doing this, and they're putting their money, I'll be stupid not to do it myself, right? Because this is an opportunity that fell in this lap. And if people that are more educated, more experienced, and more knowledgeable than I am are taking advantage of this opportunity, then I need to be a part of this too. So we were able to convince my mother to put her retirement income, a piece of her retirement, into that transaction. And we became owners of a 59-unit portfolio that I never, ever saw the properties, never met the tenants, never had to do anything with toilets, tenants, and termites, nothing, except be at the right place at the right time, surrounded with the right people. And the best part about it is we took over that property for $1,000 out of pocket. I was like, Hugh loves to pitch things in a way that it's like, that sounds way too good to be true, Hugh. Oh yeah, would you like to buy 59 properties for $1 million and we're acquiring only for $1,000 out of pocket? I'm like, what?
But it was all true, right?
Every single piece of information was true, correct? Yes.
And you made a profit on the
thank
deal,
you for
and you
that.
helped your mom out, right?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Cool.
That was actually that probably is one of my favorite deals. Now that you bring it up, because of the experience. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely got you out of your comfort zone. I know that was definitely tough for you with that engineer mind, especially at that time. You're like, I don't even know what's going on here. Like all these strangers.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I had done 0 transactions. I barely knew the people at the time, and it's like definitely got out of the comfort zone. Like we talked about in the beginning, I said yes and continued to say yes. And that was from then on, I knew Hugh was the person that I can count on to give me the facts.
Awesome.
Thank you.
No, thank you for having the confidence, and thank you for continuing to take action, right? And that's the key. And one of the things you're going to see with Jose is he's an action taker. He's out there taking action every day, whether he's looking at properties, and he'll support you on the agent side, on the investor side, whatever it happens to be. And you'll hear some new things we're going to have going on in 2025 with that. But if you want to hang out with us more, you want to be part of our mastermind, definitely reach out. We'll get you set up on that. Jose will be a part of that as we rock and roll into 2025. And hopefully today you've learned a few things just about having the right mindset to take your business to the next level. And those of you guys that are on the private podcast, you're going to get we're going to go a little deeper into real estate deals here, some strategies in a minute, but make sure you have that right mindset so that you can go out there, take the action that you need to be successful in life and put yourself in the room, even if it's a stretch. And as Jose said, just keep saying yes to the opportunities. So we'll see everybody next time. Have a great day. And continue to take your action, because one more step, one more deal, one more phone call can change your life. Have a great day. Thank you for joining us on the Launch Button Podcast, your gateway to unlocking your true potential and pursuing your passions. Don't let the journey end here. For more empowering insights, valuable resources, exclusive content, and free giveaways, visit www.thelaunchbuttonpodcast.com.